What's going on, people? How's everybody? It's your man JB Harrison with you. It's a Mind Your Business podcast. And just saying what's going on. How's everybody doing? We got a guest this evening, Miss Tremaine Wills. She'll be popping up in just a minute. But I want to just take some time to come on and just say how much I appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody that's been tuning in, checking out the show on Mondays and checking out the restream. And just understand what we're here for. Understand that the whole purpose of us doing this and being here is for you guys. It's for the business owners. It's for the entrepreneurs. It's for the creators, the influencers, and just we want to have these conversations so that you guys understand exactly what it takes and what it's about, and uh, just the whole process. And so, once again, just want to say thank you guys. Thanks for everybody that's been tuning in and hanging out, and doing stuff all at the same time. So, trying to multitask. That's what they call it, multitasking. And so, yeah. So, wanted to say thank you guys. Tremaine Willis is on the way. She's got another thing that she does on Mondays. So, before she gets here, I just wanted to say appreciate you guys. And I want you guys to know, you guys know a lot of these other people. You guys know the people that you want to hear from. Well, let me know who it is that you guys want to hear from. And listen, we'll work it out. We'll get them on the show. We'll make every attempt possible to get them on the show and have these conversations with them. So just make sure that that's what you guys do. If it's people that you want to hear from, it's cats that you like, that you sit back and you listen to and you watch and you're learning from, and you want to hear from them. You want to know how they got started. You want to know what it is that they did. Um, Let me know, man, and we'll work on trying to get them on the show. Coming up on the next couple of shows, I've got his name is Tim Schroep. I think that's how I pronounce it. Schroep, I think Shropshire. He's a comedian. He's a creative. He's an influencer. I got him coming on the show. We're going to talk to him and just kind of talk to him about how he's doing, what he's doing, even during the pandemic and all, stuff like that. So we'll talk to him, and as well as a bunch of other people. But this is what it's all about. It's about having these conversations with these individuals and having them to be able to tell the stories and what it's like, how they got into it, how they became entrepreneurs. Some on purpose, some by mistake, but just to kind of talk about that journey, talk about the journey that they had, and just kind of what it's taken for them to get exactly to where it is they're going. Shout outs, man. Shout outs to my man Mark Graham. I appreciate you, man. I really do. You know that. Shout out to Sean, man. Sean Connors. He's got the 757 Renaissance Man podcast, and he's doing it. He'll be speaking, I believe. I think got nominated or something. And and we've kind of been talking, and we're working on a couple things, man. So shout out to him. Shout out to my mom. Hey, mom. Appreciate you for tuning in. Shout outs to my wife as well. She's been hanging in there and helping out and pushing and directing and producing and all of those things. So wanted to say thank you as well. So, but yeah, just I wanted to put that out there. Just wanted to really tell you guys I appreciate you. We're going to keep moving this thing. We're going to keep working it. A little bit about myself, for those that don't know. Once again, I'm JB Harrison, which it is what it is. I've been, I guess, I've done a little bit of everything. Owned record stores. I had did radio for a while. I managed groups. I've traveled. I was a tour manager. I had the opportunity to go to Africa. Had the opportunity to go to Europe and tour manage for a group, for a band. So I've done that as well. Like I said, I've done music management. So I promoter. I book concerts. I book shows. Everybody from PJ Morton and Kevin on Stage to the Hamiltons to geez, who else? Just a bunch of people. So just I've kind of jumped into this life, but now understand, I've got a 9 to 5 now. I got a 9 to 5. I've done the whole entrepreneurship thing. I know how that works. I know how hectic it can be. I know what that's like. I know the struggle, you know. And one of the differences was I did it when I first started when I didn't have a whole bunch of responsibilities. So it's different when you get married and you have kids in comparison to when it's just you and you living at your parents' house. I'm just gonna be upfront and honest with you. So when you do a show, which I've done, and if it wasn't for me living at home with mom and dad, I probably would have lost my shirt. Probably lost a house, no car, everything. Um, so it's one of those things that it it's just kind of one of those things. So I understand the struggle of being an entrepreneur. I know what it's like being a creative. I listen. I those things I understand. And so, but I wanted to be able to have these conversations, um, so that for those of you that are thinking about it or that are doing it, look, I don't want nobody I don't want to see relationships go and fold behind being an entrepreneur. Uh, I don't want to see anybody lose their house, their car. Um, I don't want to see that. So we're trying to put things in place to keep that from happening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, Mark, Sean, my mom, hey ma, yes, what's up, Terry? What's going on, man? Shout out to Terry as well. Just I appreciate you guys, man. Even for those that just might be clicking on, they seen them streaming. Oh, let me check. Let's see what this dude talking about. Ain't heard from, ain't seen him in a minute. Well, look, I appreciate you. You know what I mean? I appreciate you guys for just taking the time out, because you could have been doing anything and everything else, but you chose to at least stop by and check me out. So I appreciate that. Let's see here. So we're waiting right now, Miss Tremaine Wills. She has a business called it's called Mind Over Money LLC, and she is a financial advisor. And I guess a financial advisor is just that. It's a person that advises when it comes to finances. So you hit the lottery, you know what I mean, and you get all this money, you better get you a financial advisor. If you think you're about to get some bread, you probably need to get you a financial advisor. That's just my take on it. So it's just making sure that you got yourself in place so that when it happens and you get your money and everything, you're prepared for it. That's how I look at it. Let's see. I think we got somebody. Miss Willis is here. Hold on, I see she getting straight over there. Here we go. I'm about to add her, you guys. What's going on?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I am well. I apologize for my tardiness. I was in the wrong link.
Oh, well, okay. Look, no problem. We warmed them up for you, so no problem. Before we go any further, how are you doing? Because I was I check out your IG. I seen you was on them roller skates, and something about you took a little spill. Just want to check up on you, make sure you're good. You hit some dirt or something, didn't you?
So what had happened was,
Yep.
I skate on Chesapeake Avenue, and so for anybody who's not watching that isn't from the area, there's a strip near the water that has a bike lane, and I love it. And so I take my skates out there, and I was trying to cross the street, and there was this patch of dirt, and I just thought I could get on my toe stops and just walk across it, and no. So I tried to use my hand to break my fall, and my hand could not hold my weight, and so my wrist cracked.
Oh man! So you did more. So more than a little scrape, a little bruise. I mean, like you did some damage.
Yeah. I went to get X-ray, and they referred me to orthopedics. So.
Oh yeah, you really. Let me hold your hand up.
Yeah, it's wrapped right now. I took the split.
Oh man. Yeah, I didn't know it was that bad. I thought you just a couple scratches or something. But okay, well look, I'm glad you're good. You know what I mean? I'm glad you're doing all right. But that's tough right there.
Yeah.
You still on skates though? You still on your skates?
They told me I couldn't. If it was up to me, I would go back out there. I would just wear wrist guards because, of course,
Okay.
you always hurt yourself when you don't have on the proper gear. And I didn't
Right,
have
right.
on no wrist guards, no helmet, no knee pads, no nothing. Just out there, being free.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
when I go back, I will have on all my proper gear.
Oh,
So,
you gonna look like you ready to back in the day you used to call
oh
it
yeah,
roller derby.
yeah. I'm gonna stop
Okay.
trying to be cool. So,
All right, well, cool. Well, look, first and foremost, I appreciate you taking the time out. I know you're busy, you're busy schedule, but I appreciate you taking the time out, hanging out with us.
of course.
Um, Wanted to kind of find out more about what it is you do. Now, I know you have a company. It's called Mind Over Money
Mhm.
LLC. You are a financial advisor. Is
Mhm.
that correct?
That's
Okay,
correct.
so I got that part right. So, what exactly is a? I mean, I can break it down. I'm just gonna say a financial advisor is somebody that advises you over your finances, but I'm sure it's more to it than that. What exactly is it that you do?
Yeah. So there are different types of financial advisors. So it is fair to have a little bit of um, questions about what it is that I do. So I am
Mhm.
the type of advisor who is a financial planner. So what
Okay.
it is, I help people create a roadmap to get them from where they are in their finances to where they want to go. And
Mhm.
so this looks like making sure that you have an appropriate budget, that you
Mhm.
are properly leveraging your credit, that you have an understanding of how much insurance you need. Your retirement accounts are structured the way they need to be. You have supplemental brokerage accounts, and then some essential estate planning, right? All of this to help create like this guide so that our dollars are doing exactly what we need them to do. And so that is the very basic foundation of what I do, create that guide for people. And then the next level of that is helping manage the assets that put those dollars to work. So for folks who have these separate brokerage accounts, helping guide what types of investments they are in to help them reach whatever targets we need to reach by when we need to reach them.
So let me, and I'm just gonna ask this
Mhm.
because, and I'll just be honest, for us, and when I say us, people that look like me, and sometimes people that look like you, this might be kind of foreign. And so, and when I say foreign, this is not something that we learn on a regular basis. So my first question to you is either one, what kind of parents did you have? Or two, how did you get into this field? Like what happened?
These are great questions. So, one, I will tell you, um, I do not come from wealth. Neither of my parents have any education in this space.
Got it.
This came from me getting tired of hearing things like, "Do you have McDonald's money?" Um, and truly wanting to understand, okay, what do we do with this so that I can have what I need when I need it? And the real thing for me was finding the freedom. Yes, the money is nice, but the true reason why any of us want any level of wealth is so that we can do what we want to do. And
Mhm.
having money allows you different types of freedoms. It could be time freedom, right? That allows you to not have to go to work. It could be location freedom, where maybe you do work, but you get to choose where you work from, right? Many people are
Right.
moving to different countries to do different things. But that's what we're really buying with our money. And so I wanted to figure out how to structure my finances to purchase those freedoms.
Mhm. And so have you done that? Have you done that yourself?
I am not done. I am almost there. I will be done in 3 years. And so I'll be retiring at 35.
Wait, hold it. You you say that one more time. You're going to be retiring when?
At 35.
So, are you working somewhere else that I may not know about, or is this from doing this right here and
This is
handling your money and all of that?
yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it's not a matter of what your profession is. It is how you manage the resources that you have, right? We don't hear about people who are lazy millionaires often, and what that means
Mhm.
is people who are just working regular jobs that
Right.
set money aside in their retirement accounts, they invest in brokerage accounts, and then they just become wealthy from putting their assets to work. We don't hear about that often. We hear more about the Warren Buffetts and the Jeff Bezos and, you know, the Oprah Winfrey's, Beyonce, Jay-Z, right? We hear about the big fancy stuff. But there are many people who are lazy millionaires that just put their money to work. And so that's what this strategy has been, putting the money to work, not necessarily, you know, being flashy and having everybody know, because true wealth speaks for itself. You don't have to show it. It does what it's supposed to do. And right now it has given me time freedom.
Man, 35 years old and about to retire. So, well, let me ask you this. So when you retire, what is your plan? What are you going to do when you retire?
Whatever I feel like it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I think that when I say retire, it'll probably just be I'll have the choice to do whatever I want to do. But I've become so passionate about this work that I don't really see me stepping away. I'll just have more flexibility to say no or to raise the rate, right? To speak only where I want to speak because I'm getting paid 6 figures or whatever, you know? But that was the goal. It was to have the freedom and the choice to say yes or no to whatever I want to say yes or no to.
Now, so what is your background? Like how, you know, we talked about that, but what is your background? How did you get to, you know, middle school, high school to where you are now? How did that work?
Okay, so to rewind this and go all the way back, I have been a hustler since I knew what it meant. I started this journey, entrepreneurship. I used to braid hair. And so I learned very, very quickly how to trade my time and my talents for money. What I did not learn at that time was how to turn the money that I earned, my income, into assets. And so there was this gap for me. I was really good at doing hair and making money, but I was always spending it. And so it was just, oh, I want something. I know how much hair I got to do, how much money I got to make to get it. And then I just do the hair and now I have this money. And I think our culture is really, really good at that. We can make money when we need to make it to make the ends meet.
Right.
But where we lack is turning that income into assets. And that is how you are able to retire. When you can turn your passive income we can turn your active income into passive income where you don't have to go do anything and your money is just printing itself. That's when you have true wealth. And so that's what I started to try to figure out. How can I stop braiding hair? How can I just wake up and there's money in the bank account? So when I went to college, those were my questions. How do I make money? And so I pursued business. My degree is in business administration. I have a minor in accounting and engineering. And I have a master's degree in business administration with a concentration in economics. And so that's what led me to like trying to figure out all these numbers. After that, I went to PNC and I was in their accelerator program to become a financial specialist. So I was licensed at 22 to sell stocks, bonds, all the great securities. And I learned there what they were doing in other communities that was not being taught back here. So I took that information. I was like, all right, we got to do something different. And started to clean up the things that I had been doing wrong because I was not taught these things. So I came out of school with high credit card debt, not the perfect credit score, all of that stuff. And so I had to go back and fix all of that. And along that journey, I started talking and teaching other people how to do it. And I started getting paid. And so I learned like, okay, if I tell people how to fix the mistakes that I made, y'all gonna pay me for that? And that's how I built my business. And so I registered my company as a registered investment advisory firm. So I'm one of the few 100% Black women owned investment advisory practices in the nation. So y'all can look me up, broker check, right? To give investment advice, and it pays well. And I can't lie about it. It does pay very, very well. But just because I'm making the money, now I have to apply what I'm learning to put those assets to work. That is what got me to this point. Not just I want to make a lot of money. It was how do I make the money and then be able to do whatever I want to do.
So what is it? So you were braiding hair. Okay.
Mhm.
What did you, where did you see yourself from that point when you were braiding hair 10 years down the line? Where did you see yourself?
I honestly thought I was gonna be a cosmetologist
Mm,
and, own my own salon, and because
mm,
that's what I knew. I've known so many other people to do that same thing, and that's what I saw. It wasn't until I was exposed to this different space where I could actually see me doing that. I didn't know nobody that owned an investment advisory firm. I definitely didn't know anybody who was Black that was doing it. And
mm.
so once I got connected to people who looked like me that were doing that, oh, it was done deal, right? Because
Mm,
I said you can do it. Oh, I definitely can do this, right? I had that hustle in me. So
mm.
that is when all the cylinders started to go. And I was like, all right, cool. This is the mission. This is what we're chasing after. I'm not letting anything distract me. Um, and it's been tunnel vision.
What is your day like? So when you get up in the morning outside of roller skating and jump roping, what does your day look like?
Yeah. So I spent some time researching and figuring out, well, what is happening in the markets, to make sure that I have a good handle on the types of things that I need to be paying attention to. After that, I start to follow up and do whatever outstanding tasks are required for clients. And then I spend most of the evenings prospecting and looking for more clients to service. I just recently launched a group coaching program to help with lower income people that may not be able to afford my full services so that I can help more people get on this path, right? Like you mentioned before, not a lot of us know
Right.
um, what to do. And
Mhm.
oftentimes the barrier is not even not knowing, it's also a fear of, oh, is this person going to judge me because I
Right.
got
Right.
X, Y,
Right.
and Z happening? And so for me, I have done a lot of the dumb stuff that many people are afraid to talk about. And because I have already done it and fixed it, I can talk to you about that. Yes, I cashed out my 401k. I have had $20,000 in credit card debt. I have had a payday loan. Like I've done all those things too. So now it removes this fear of saying I messed up, like this professional person messed up and she was able to fix it. So now she can tell me how to fix it. So that's what the goal is moving forward. Now, yes, I have some clients that are on the higher end of the spectrum, but I also want to make sure that I provide a space to help the folks who might not feel comfortable talking to somebody
Mhm.
because of that fear of they're going to judge me. Ain't no judgment here.
So,
I probably already messed up. What you think is wrong?
well, look, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I got a million. I mean, we don't have time for a million questions, but I have a million questions. I guess so. Is there an intimidation factor because of your age, and when some clients come to you and they see how young you may be, and I'm sure that once you get to talking, all that may go out the window.
Mhm.
But when you have people that come to you and maybe their money is looking real long and looking real good, and then they come to have this conversation with you, and they kind of judge you based on what your age or whatever. Has that been a hindrance at all, or how has that worked for
If it has been, I did not know it was because of my age. The thing about this space is people really don't care about how much you know. They
you?
care more about what you're going to do for them and how much you care about them specifically. I am really good at displaying and showing that care because this is truly why I'm in this space, because there needs to be more people that look like us that are able to retire. I am
Mm,
so tired of seeing our older generation have to continue to work until death. That is
yeah,
not
that's
what it should
that's
be.
tough.
And so,
Right, right.
because for me, I come from a different space where I'm going to retire regardless. It might not be because I serviced you, but at the end of the day, I'm going to reach my goal. I don't have to be a scammy or a
Mhm.
snaky salesperson. I never have to approach anything like that, and I think that's why I've been able to do so well and to scale so quickly is because there's a true passion here. I am an educator by nature. I truly believe in closing this wealth gap and making sure that it's not just me being able to retire when I want to retire, but that there are millions more that are going to be doing this.
Well, so you said you're probably, I guess, at 100 or so. Your company, your organization. How many other organizations are there around that, like you said, like look like you?
I don't know the specific number, but I do know that less than 3% of certified financial planners are Black or Latino. Less than 3%. And so if less than 3% of us are even Black or Latino, that means an even smaller percentage own their own firm. Because many of us, we go work for someone else because we don't have what we need, or we don't know the avenue to start our own practice. And so initially, when I got started in this space, I was working for someone else, but I quickly realized that wasn't the route I wanted to take. I don't believe in selling widgets just to meet a revenue goal. If I'm going to provide advice or give you a service, I needed to be as unbiased as possible, because I wanted to truly be about the growth that you're going to see, the transformation that you're going to experience as a client, not about the commission that I'm going to earn. So my entire practice is a fee-based practice. I give investment advice for a certain amount, and it doesn't matter what investments you purchase, I'm still going to get my fee. So I can give you an unbiased opinion, because it doesn't matter. If you choose this one or that one, whatever one makes the most sense for you is how my practice is built.
So, and this is, so for those of you that are viewing or may just just jumped on or whatever the case may be, first and foremost, welcome. It's the Mind Your Business podcast. My name is JB Harrison, powered by the Harrison brand and hanging with the Harrisons. We've got Miss Tremaine Wills. She's on with us, and she's talking about finances. She's a financial advisor and has a whole bunch of other initials behind her name, I'm sure. But we're talking about what she does. If you guys have questions, shoot them to me. I would love to be able to hear from you guys, and then we can talk to her as well. Because look, I can sit here all day because I got questions, but I know some of you may have some questions as well. So as far as you starting your own firm, how hard or easy was that for you?
It was only difficult because I didn't know what I was doing. I struggle with chaos. And so I'm a numbers person. I'm a very linear, like I plan everything. It's not just money that I plan. Like I was the to-do person before I knew writing daily to-do list was a structured thing, right? And so because I didn't know the steps that I needed to take, it was a very frustrating process. But once I was able to connect with organizations and other people that were able to do it, I found that it wasn't that challenging, primarily because I had already had the credentials that I needed to move forward, right? I'm a really good test taker. I'm really good at retaining and reteaching information. And so it was okay for me to go through those steps. Oh, I do see a question here.
There it is. Yeah, we got one. Do you work with people in other states?
Yes, I do. So my practice is based in Virginia, but I do have clients right now. I think we're in 11 other states. So depending on where you are, if you would like to reach out to me, I would love to have a discovery call with you to see if we're a good fit.
And I'll make sure we give the information. We get your information out there, and get it out there. Because look, at the end of the day, everybody needs some help with finances.
Absolutely.
And whether you got a bunch, you got a little bit, or you have none at all. Because if you don't have any, you're trying to figure out how to get some.
Absolutely.
You know, if you've got a lot, you're trying to figure out what to do with it. And most people always want to find out, well, look, either I want to get more, or I've got a lot, so I need to figure out what to do with it. And I guess that's where you come in. Now, you've also been featured. You've been featured where? I know you've been. You're kind of like a celebrity as well, too. Huh?
Oh, I'm not a celebrity. not quite. One day though,
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that one day folks are gonna know my name. But I've been in Wall Street Journal, I've been in Forbes, Yahoo Finance, Go Banking Rates. Where else? I was just on the local news here in Hampton Roads, Channel 13, WBC. We did a segment called Left Behind where we were talking about what's going to happen after the pandemic's done and some of the populations that are not going to recover. So yeah.
And so the fact, right? And listen, you named some magazines, you named some publications, you named some things that only certain people can get in. And so for you to, I'm not. Listen, you're in Forbes. Like that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And especially, and I'm sure not only is it a big deal, but even the fact of your age. Listen, I'm still blown away the fact that you talking about you about to retire.
Retirement is about a dollar amount. It's not about an age. And that is the biggest lie this country has told us. Oh, everybody retire at 65. No, man. You retire when your dollars say you can. And for me, those dollars are going to be screaming at age 35. Hopefully sooner if I can get, invested properly in some of these other things I'm looking at. I started looking into uranium. I'm like, you know what? Nuclear energy. It has a better sentiment now. So, but yeah, it's the dollar amount. It's not an age. And so if we can work past that and get our assets to a point where they're cash flowing the way we need them to, you don't gotta wait. You just need a plan.
So let me ask you this. You've said, and this is for some people that, just to catch them up. What exactly, you said assets a lot. Just layman's terms.
What are assets?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So assets are things that are of value. When we are talking about retirement, we are looking for things that can be converted to cash that I can spend, right? So for many of us, especially in our community, we have a lot of depreciating assets, things that are worth less than when we bought them. We like nice cars. Most cars, as soon as you drive them off the lot, they lose like 20% of their value, right? I can't use that to build a portfolio, right? We like shoes. We like clothes. We like all of this flashy stuff, right? Those are not assets that are going to grow in value. So when we talk about having assets, we want to have things that are going to be worth more than when we paid for them. So I want to start purchasing real estate. I want to have ownership in companies. I want to have people owe me money, right? I want to be the person that is lending out. I want to be the lender and not the borrower. We want to have those type of relationships where our dollars are consistently coming back to us. Anytime we have income coming in, we need to start to look at every dollar as an employee. How do I make that dollar work harder? The best way to do it is to turn it into an asset and then to leverage that asset to make more money. Many of us, we turn our dollars into liabilities or we turn them into depreciating assets. And so it doesn't give us the types of returns that we need. So if we can shift our mindset from, oh, I made this money, let me spend it on this thing to just look away, to, oh, I made this money, let me make this money make more money, right? What asset can I buy? What thing can I purchase that's going to make me more money? That's how we build wealth.
I'm not frozen. I'm here. I'm listening. And I said this. I posted this on my Instagram that I was going to be taking notes because listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm not financially. I'm not here. I may be one of those, and I don't know what you classify as lower income. You know what I mean? I don't know what the classification is, but hey, I may need to get in that lower income category so we can get some of this information to figure out how, my wife and I, how we can make these dollars that we get that come in at the end of the day, how we can make each one of them go to work for us.
Yeah. So for anyone who's interested, I have a free Facebook group. It's called Get Your Money Right. There's no fee to join, but I am starting to go live in that group every Monday at noon to just talk about things that we might not be comfortable talking about. We have other team members that share content related to things that you can do now to increase your wealth. We have a challenge right now. It's called the 1% challenge. And basically the objective is to just save or invest 1% more than what you're already doing. So for example, if I bring home $1,000, right? For many of us, we're thinking about all the bills we got to pay, right? We're the middleman. The money comes in, it goes back out. We got to shift our thinking. The first thing you want to do is pay yourself. And if you are a believer, you tithe, all that great stuff, right? But when we start to pay ourselves before we pay everybody else, we reprogram those dollars. We have to get in the habit of saving and investing before we go run to pay all these other creditors and all these other bills. I'm not saying don't pay your bills. Yes, it will be done. But you cannot go from paying everybody else and then pay yourself with what is left over. You have to pay yourself first, and then you pay everybody else with what is left over. And if there's not enough left over, negotiate those terms to figure out, okay, how can I reduce this payment? How can I set up a strategy where you still get your money, you're happy, but I am paying myself? We have to be very, very disciplined about making sure that we keep our dollars. Until we can be in that mindset and we're not just rushing off to take money from who gave it to us and give it to somebody else, you're never going to be able to retain any assets.
Girl. Okay. Well, okay. So let's talk about credit. And I know you don't do credit repair, and I get that and understand. And, I think for some people, well, and I'll be honest, when we talk, that was one of the things that I told you. I was like, well, what about credit? Look, I don't do credit repair, and I get it. That's fine. And how important is credit for one with, so for instance, for people that are interested in contacting you and figuring out what they need to do to get their finances, to where they should be. How important is credit? And should they have a particular credit score when they come to you, or how does that?
Does
it matter?
Credit score does not matter to me. But let's break down like what credit is, because I think many of us are attracted to this idea of perfect credit because we don't actually understand the value of it. Credit is nothing but a tool, right? You only need credit when you don't have capital. So if I don't have any cash, then I need to leverage credit to purchase whatever I want to purchase, okay? So let's look at it like this. Let's say I want to buy a car, right? The car costs $20,000. If I had $20,000 in cash, I wouldn't need credit. Doesn't matter what the credit score is.
Right.
But most people don't have $20,000 in cash, and they still want that car. So what do? We borrow somebody else's money, and we pay them interest for that money using credit, right? Now, one of the things that we need to think about when we are looking at credit is why we don't have the cash. Credit was never a long-term solution. Credit was supposed to be a short-term financing strategy, a way to purchase an asset without using our own capital. And so what wealthy people do is they borrow money, but they use it to make more money. Most wealthy people are not just borrowing money to finance depreciating assets. If I am using credit, I am probably purchasing a building, some type of property. Maybe I'm even using it to invest, right? Because I can take money out, borrow it at 3%, and then if the return I'm getting on the investment is 8, 9, 20%, I've made money on that spread, right? That's what wealthy people are doing with credit. They're borrowing money to make more money. What many of us are doing, we are borrowing money as an extension of our lifestyle. So I might have a credit card and the credit line might be $1,000. Well, I don't have no cash, so I'm gonna spend $500 of this credit card and then I'm gonna just pay back the minimum. That's the wrong way to use credit. But because we don't understand what it's properly for, we get all these credit cards, we max them out. Next thing we know, we've done paid $3,000 back on a $500 thing that we borrowed. And so this is the cost of not really understanding what credit is. Credit is just a way to borrow other people's money. If I don't need to borrow your money, I don't need credit. So yes, you want to have good credit if you want to have the option to use someone else's money instead of yours. But the root of what we need to do differently is answering the question why we don't have the capital. It is one thing to have it and not want to spend it because I'm using it on something with a greater return, right? If I'm going to use that cash to invest it in the market and get a 10% return, then of course I don't want to use it, to purchase this thing that has a 3% interest rate. But if I don't have the cash and I need to address, why don't I have $20,000? That's what I need to fix and not worry about the credit so much.
It's not that often that I don't have much to say. It's not. But just listening and digesting, and once again, like I said, these are some of those lessons that we just were not taught.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things. A lot of it, and it's and not to blame anyone, and not to point the finger. It's just we weren't taught these lessons.
We weren't.
And I think that for our communities, this is a major issue. And it's trying to figure out how to get people like yourself to be able to have these conversations on a larger scale,
mm-hmm.
with a larger demographic, so that way you can impact more people, and ultimately you see the change. You'll be able to see that change in the community, and whether it starts, because ultimately if it starts with the grandparent or the parent, eventually it's going to go down to the child.
Absolutely.
And that way you're looking at how you're impacting generations and generations, on how that, it's just, it's amazing, but at the same time, it's unfortunate because these are lessons that we just never learned.
Yeah.
And if we did learn them, we learned them the hard way. And really and honestly, it goes back to the purpose of this show, and the purpose of the show is to have these conversations. One, so that future entrepreneurs and business owners, creators, influencers, have the opportunity to share their stories. But then at the same time, for people like you that are doing it, to be able to drop some things here and there to kind of help people's mindset.
Yes. Yes.
And have them reevaluate some things, look at some things, and those things that need to be fixed, really get out there and attempt and try your best to fix them. So that way you're creating a better situation for yourself, but then at the same time, not necessarily for yourself, but even those that are coming behind you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you said a key thing. You talked about the mindset. And so I often get asked, what should I invest in? How much do I need to invest? And it seems like so many of us want to skip doing the actual work and just get to the success, right? And that's not what happens. You have to start at a point where your mind truly believes that you are capable of reaching whatever level of wealth that you want to reach. Until you believe that, you get stuck in the same cycles of whatever trauma or baggage or, financial insecurity that you're in, until you make the commitment and the decision that you're going to do something different. And so if I had to leave any advice that wasn't, investment advice specific, it was, we got to take control of our mind. There are so many things that are telling us we are not worth anything because we don't have $1 million, right? Mm-hmm. Our net worth is so connected to our value. And that's not the truth, right? You are worth so much more, no matter how much money is in your bank account. Your value is not determined by how much money you have. And so when we can separate our net worth from our self-worth, that's when you can really start to build that wealth. Our wealth is our money is just an extension of who we are. And
Hold
so
on. Hold on for me just a minute. We need to take that back. I need you to say that again.
You have to learn to detach your net worth from your self-worth. Okay. We don't like having these conversations when we don't have any money, because we feel like we are less than because we don't have any money. And so I know for me, when I was first getting started on this journey, I didn't want to tell nobody that I messed up and did all that stuff, because there was this shame, there was this guilt, there was just this feeling of like, dang, I ain't got it together. But when I really took a step back and saw that, like, this is not an accurate reflection of the person that I know that I am, that's when things started to change, because I truly valued who I was as a person and what I was able to give to the world. And so now that value is just being matched with the resources, the financial resources, the connections to the media, right? That's when all those attractions started to come, because I truly believe in the value that I have in myself. And so money doesn't really do anything. It's just another resource that allows you to amplify who you are. So when you believe that money doesn't define you, and you are able to define who you are, you can do so many great things. That has to be our mindset, that it doesn't matter what it looks like right now. It's okay if my net worth is negative 200 million, right? That's okay, because it's not an accurate reflection of my true value. And so, because we can come back from anything, and I mean anything, right? You can file bankruptcy, doesn't matter. You still can build the wealth that you want to build when you value who you are. When I think about the lessons that I've read from lots of these different millionaires and billionaires, right? If they lost everything, guess what? They would be okay, because they know they can do it again, right? They are not so connected to their dollars that they're like guarding it like it's their last thing, because that's not where the true wealth is. The true wealth is understanding what you are capable of. So when we can, unprogram ourselves with everything we've been fed about who we are, right? Many of us have a really negative self-image. And I mean, that's to be expected. The media keeps telling us we're not worth anything. But when you can shift that narrative in your own mind, I'm telling you, anything is possible.
Listen, you done said a whole lot. I mean, you have, look, you said a lot. What is, with you doing your own business, entrepreneurship, what is the hardest lesson that you learned?
That one, that I am capable, that it can be me. Because I have always been service-hearted. I've always wanted to give, right? And I never really wanted to connect, a financial resource to that. But the truth is, I am worth the value that I provide. And so it is okay to be wealthy. It is okay to make money. It's okay to be okay. You don't have to settle in a struggle, right? I think that I connected this struggle, this always having to find ends meet, to like a part of the subculture that I wanted to identify with. And as I started to break away from that, I almost felt like I was losing a piece of my identity. But the reality is, we are not meant to stay in a struggle. That doesn't have to be, how you identify yourself, right? You can identify yourself as a giver and give from abundance because you have it. It doesn't have to be your last that you're always giving. I can give just because I got this extra, right? So being able to separate from that identity and not feeling bad about it probably was one of the biggest lessons I had to learn, because I come from a family of, service. We volunteer. My mama's still volunteering on stuff that we did when I was 6 years old. And I'm like, you don't even have young children anymore. What are you doing? Right? Why are you still out there? And so that was something that was ingrained in me. And so shifting that, it was a tough thing. Like, it's okay to be wealthy. It's okay.
Right. Yeah. And I think, a lot of times, we've been programmed and sometimes it's to the point to where if we have more than someone else, it's almost like you shouldn't, or you feel bad if you do. Um, and it's trying to, I guess for me, it's more of, well, shoot, if I'm going to have more than someone else, I don't have a problem with that. But as long as I'm able to also teach them, show them, or whatever it is that I did, or that I'm doing, or that I'm trying to do, that at the end of the day, I can at least say I gave them the same tools or the same information that I had because I wanted them to succeed just like I'm hoping to or I'm moving towards. And I think a lot of times I think that's one of the biggest things. I think if we can find that, if we can get the information and find out what it is that it takes to become successful, or at least that path, and we can pull some people with us, carry some people along with us, or make sure it's not just us, only us, our family, then I think, it'll be okay. And then at the same time, ultimately, you're doing something for some other people besides yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you. I 100% agree. I believe that we've been taught to compete to a fault, right? We've been taught that you don't share the secrets, right? Somebody's going to steal from you. They're going to take your idea.
Right.
And the truth is, nobody can do what you do the way that you do it and who you're supposed to do it for. That's one of the greatest lessons that I learned in running my business. Like, no, I don't come from wealth. Yes, I messed up a whole bunch of stuff. No, I don't have all these flashy things, but guess who I speak to? And I speak to them well because nobody else can talk to my people like I can. So I don't mind sharing the steps to start your own firm if that's going to mean we lift more people out of poverty. I am totally okay with that because you can copy everything I've done and you still won't be able to do it like me. And so once and that all of this goes back to having this confidence and this belief in your own value, where it's okay if there are a million people doing the same thing as you, because they can't take from you what belongs to you. And we don't have that as a culture. We are very, very much afraid of other people being successful because there's this lack mentality. Well, if that person is successful, then that's taking away from my shine. And the truth is, it's space for everybody that wants to be in the space, but you got to want it and believe you deserve to be there. And we don't believe we deserve to be there.
You see my face, right?
Yeah.
Look, I'm telling you, you're really saying a lot of things, and just things that are so good. And it's stuff that people need to hear and understand and know. Understanding your value. Understanding that, you done messed up. Yeah. But we all have. Understanding that at the end of the day, there could be a million people doing the same thing that you're doing, but they can't do it like you do. You have people that you can reach that the person that's doing the same thing can't. And just understanding that, and don't quit. Don't quit. Don't compare yourself, and don't allow yourself to compare yourself that ultimately you're going to end up quitting. Because I think that happens, with me, there's a million people out here doing podcasts. There's a million of them. And so I've run across some that, kind of do business stuff too. And I'm like, maybe. But it's just knowing, understand, well, look, man, y'all do what you do. I'm going to do what I do. Matter of fact, I may even invite you onto my podcast. Come hang out, come be a part. But at the end of the day, continue to do what I'm doing, because I know somebody's going to need something that somebody on the show is going to say they're going to need it. And they may not get it on anybody else's show. I don't know. But just to make sure that I'm doing whatever it is that I can do, I'm not comparing myself to this cat, whoever, but just continue what I can do and just make it work.
Yeah.
And having people on like you that's messing around and you gonna talk people out of their money because now everybody want to hire you. And let me tell you, listen. Look, I'm right now. I get over here. I'm holler at my wife. We gotta figure something out. You know what I mean? Like, look, you are because what it is that you're doing. What you aside from you retiring at 35, but just the fact of being able to talk to people and kind of putting that in their ear and their head that look, you ain't got to be here forever. There's things that you can do to get yourself out of the position that you're in. You don't have to be there. You don't have to stay there. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care where you came from, whatever. You do not have to stay there. Now, if you choose to stay there, that's a different story.
Right.
But you don't have to be there. There's all this information is here for you. All you gotta do now is just be willing, raise your hand, and do the work to make it happen. And look, man. So first, I gotta say thanks to Mark Graham because I was talking to Mark, and we were talking one day, and he was, we just talking, and I was talking about the show and just guess. And he was like, "Well, look, you got called." I was like, "I got who, man?" I said, "Mark, what are you talking about, Mark? What are you talking about?" So you got to call her, man. She does this, she did it. I was like, all right. So I checked it out. And I was like, word, you right, man. Let me get on. And we connected, got you on here. So shout out to Mark. But then like I said, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for taking the time out. I know you have things that you do on Mondays. You got it done. You got on here. You jumped on. You spilled your guts. You put it out here, and I really do appreciate that because I know that if they didn't catch it here and they catch the replay, you said a lot of things that even if nobody right now does anything as far as money is concerned, you said some things to change a mindset. Like you planted that seed to really change a mindset. Detach your net worth from your self-worth. You may see that tomorrow on Instagram. I will make sure that I cite you, that I tag you, whatever. You may see it though, because that's big. That's something serious. That is something very serious. So I always do this before we get off. Highs and lows. What's your highest high as far as being an entrepreneur, and your lowest low? And you can go from either one. It doesn't matter which one you start with.
Ooh. Oh, I gotta think about what I can share. Okay, my highest high was finding out my company's valuation. I never saw this coming. And I can't share right now. I'm in an accelerator program. Y'all know how that go. Non-disclosure, all that stuff. But seeing that number and realizing like, oh my goodness, like all this hard work is finally paying off, right?
Right. Yes.
That was a really good feeling because I don't come from wealth, and I feel like I have so many people that I owe for just supporting me and pouring into me, and like finally getting to a point where like, yo, I'm gonna be able to pay off. I'm getting all emotional, Lord.
Easy now.
But that was my highest high. Lowest low. I've had a lot. Okay, entrepreneurship is different.
Right. Yes.
But the lowest was probably having to go on unemployment because I was not making money like I needed to be making, and my pride was just so bruised. And I was like, oh, child, how am I a financial advisor that doesn't have finances? And I had put everything into my business. I mean, everything. So that was a low for me because it was like, dang, I feel like a hypocrite. And so it's just amazing to see like that valley and that top of that hill. Like you go from you got to be on unemployment to seeing evaluation. We're like, yo, I can probably retire my mom, And so that, right? And so for any entrepreneurs out there, let me tell you, man, if you believe in it, you better not quit. You don't give up, and I don't care what happens, right? I don't care what happens. Do not give up. If you believe in this vision, you keep going after it. And when I started this, the dream was to close the wealth gap. That has always been the mission. And now it's just how quickly can I bring on other people to help them see this vision so that we can do it? Because it's a lot of work and I can't do it by myself.
Right. Well, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to figure something out. Well, we'll figure some things out on how we can put something in place just to assist with closing this wealth gap. I don't know how. I don't have all the answers. I don't, but I'm willing to try to figure it out and see what we can do to kind of make it work. And I said this to you before, and I say this to a lot of my guests. I appreciate you taking your time and jumping on here, hanging out with us, spilling your guts, just putting it out there and having this conversation, because entrepreneurship, a lot of times, it's not a 9 to 5. You know, I'm sure there's some things that you probably should be doing right now, and could be doing. And you decided to, hey, you know what? I'm gonna come on there for, an hour, whatever, and have this conversation. So I appreciate you. I truly do. I appreciate the words that you allowed to come out your mouth, because I know that somebody was impacted, outside of myself, but I know that. And so I appreciate you. I'm going to get the information, your Facebook. We'll get all the information out so that people can reach out to you and figure out what they need to do to help close the wealth gap as well. Because you're there, you're doing it, and like I said, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me on your platform. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all. Thanks again, you guys. So once again, that was Miss Tremaine Wills. Y'all heard it. She's doing it. She's about to retire at 35, man. 35 and about to retire. That's major. Listen, I'm going to get you guys the information to where you guys can contact her, reach out to her, figure out what you guys have to do, get your money right, get your money up, whatever the case may be, to help close the wealth gap. But once again, I appreciate you guys. I'm JB Harrison. This is the Mind Your Business podcast, powered by Hanging with the Harrisons and the Harrison brand. And oh yeah, I'm gonna throw that Cash App out there. It's Mind Your Biz. Look right there on the bottom. You see it on the bottom of the screen. Y'all know what to do when it comes to Cash App. Look, hey, whatever you can do is fine. Even if you can't do nothing but throw some hands up, say, I appreciate what you're doing. We'll take that as well. Monday, make sure you guys catch this replay. Get you some paper, pen and paper, sit down and go through it again so you can catch what you missed. I appreciate you guys, and we'll talk soon. Y'all have a good night.